segments on Bronny James and not a single segment on the first overall pick in the draft. I don't want to make this public. I don't want to talk about it. By the way, I'm going to go on as many shows as possible and talk about this. Body! Bro, Stephen A., your body is telling you that what you just said was nonsense. You get to go on your show with millions of people watching and say nonsense about me as a father, and when I have a problem with that because you claim to be a sports analyst, I have to call you. But I'm gonna get back to doing something that, you know, you should be doing as an analyst, Stephen A., and that's talking basketball. Welcome back, everybody, to my channel. If you know me, you know who I am. If you don't know me, I am a React content creator. I like to react to drama, TikTok, YouTube nonsense, and I also like to react to basketball, everyday basketball, modern NBA, as well as basketball creators. With that being said, today, I want to give my full take on the Stephen A. LeBron shit. Really break it down. This won't be that long of a video, because I got a couple clips of him pulled up. I got a few things to say. We're going to leave it at that. Because I see a lot of just really silly takes on this. And I think it's kind of ridiculous. I'm just going to squash his takes one at a time. Right? One at a time. The first take I want to talk about is we're going to start with stats. Okay? A lot of people are saying that Bronny James deserves to be talked about. Bronny James is an NBA player just like his dad. So Bronny James should be fair game, right? And no one is saying Bronny James is not allowed to be fair game. But how many times have you heard the first pick in the NBA? Media, the second pick, the third pick, the fourth pick? I'm curious. How many times have you guys heard that? Do you guys know how they're playing? I can tell you, bad. Do you guys even know their names? That's the problem, okay? You can't say on one hand that we're talking about a story because people, you know, at the end of the day, it's our job. That's why we're talking about story. But then on the other hand, we're not talking about the first pick of the draft, the second pick of the draft, and how they're not living up to the names of being the first and second pick in the draft. We're going to talk about the 55th pick. That's top 50 in all his stats. So he's playing like a 55th pick. And we're not going to talk about the 54th pick, the 53rd pick playing worse than the 55th pick. It's not relative. That's the problem. If you want to say that Bronny got his career with some level of nepotism involved in it, that is fine. If you want to have a little bit of a critique as far as him being in the league and saying at the end of the day, I feel like maybe another spot could have gone to him, we can have that debate, but you're just wrong. The nepotism part, sure, he got a leg up. That's going to happen. But the part where you feel like there's people better than him, really? Who? I'm curious. Bronny's playing better than the 54th and the 53rd pick, and he's playing better than everybody that was drafted after him. So who should have been drafted before Bronny that the Lakers just missed out on? I'm curious. And it's just that narrative of it's my job, that's why I'm talking about it, is annoying because they don't even believe that. Because it is your job to talk about the NBA, but people don't even know who the rookie of the year is, right? People don't even know how the first and second pick is doing, let alone their names, right? It's your job to talk the NBA. You don't talk the NBA. You talk what's going to bring you ratings. And if you would have said that, I wouldn't be angry. I just don't like the excuse that everybody's giving Stephen A. It's his job, it's his job, it's his job. It is his job to talk the NBA. But how many segments have they gone on Bronny James? I bring this up, but I'm curious. I am curious. Let's go to YouTube, right? We're going to type in first take, and we're going to type in Bronny James. Let's see what comes up. First take, Bronny. Just Bronny, I guess. Let's see. We got 1. We got 2. This one doesn't count. That's recently. We got 3. That one doesn't count. That's a show. 4. 5. 6. 6. Stephen A. blames LeBron James. 7. Comments on Bronny. 8. 9. Gabriel Arenas covers criticism. 10. This is LBJ versus Jordan. That's LBJ. Okay. So after a few scrolls, and I could sit here and scroll forever. We could sit here and try to, few scrolls. 10 segments. 10 segments on Bronny James. 10. Now, if you go ahead and look at the draft order, NBA draft order 2024. Should have had everything pulled up. That's on me, guys. That's on me, guys. I apologize for that. But here's the draft order, right? We're curious. Do you think they talked about... I can't say his name. Do you think they talked about Alex Czar? Do you think these names were brought up? I'm curious. Maybe. I could be completely wrong. Keep in mind, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There's probably the same amount of segments, right? He's the first pick. There's probably like at least 10 segments on this guy. Let's see. Nope. Oh. 4 months ago, he had a career high. He had a good game. But that's not first take, by the way. Nope. Wow, funny enough, Skip Bayless talked about him. That's kind of funny. Nope. They talked about the number 17th pick. Yeah, so, yeah. And that wasn't even on his show. That was during the draft. So I looked through all the videos, and you don't even talk about the number 1 pick. You don't talk about the number 2 pick. You don't talk about the players whatsoever. I just find that interesting. That's all. I just find it interesting that you don't talk about the first pick and the second pick, right? You have no smoke for them whatsoever. But if we go look at their stats, it's not like they're performing. I know it said like a 33-point game. He had a good game. But it's not like they're performing great. He's playing 24 minutes, 11 points, 43% shooting from the field, 34% from the 3. He's okay. He ain't great. But you're not talking about him at all. You're not talking about these numbers. You're not talking about the fact he's playing 24 minutes. And then we go to Alex Czar, right? He's putting up about the same percentage. Terrible from the 3. And you're not talking about him. He's not even hitting average from the 3. And you're not talking about him. I don't get that. Why? It's not like they're both playing decent. So I guess we don't really talk about. They're not playing good. Why aren't you talking about them? And it's just frustrating when people try to use that excuse of like it's his job to talk about this. It may be his job to talk about this, but he should also talk about players that are actually playing at a worse level that were drafted at a higher stock. Bronny is playing like a 50 pick. Bronny's playing better than someone that was picked before him. Look at Bronny's stats in the G League. 20.6 points, 4.9 rebounds, 5.2 assists. Shooting 36% splits, 66% from free throw, and 21% from the 3. Okay? He is not that good. But guess what? He's doing better than this motherfucker from the G League. Anton Watson, 12 points, 5.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists. Plus minus a 0.1, 42, 30, 68%. They're both not good shooters. They're both not good from the field, and they're both not good from the free throw line. But guess what? Bronny has better stats and is playing better than the guy that was drafted before him. And he's playing better than the guys that were drafted after him. He's playing like a 55th pick. All of his stats are top 50. Like a 55th pick. Okay? And you're mad and you want to talk about him. Why? So that I just want to get that excuse out the way. Point blank, period. That needs to be squashed, and that's done. So when people try to sit there and say this is their job to talk about Bronny James, it's their job to talk about NBA players, that's fine. Talk about NBA players, but have the same smoke for NBA players that are not living up to their name. Have the same smoke for NBA players that were drafted at 1 and 2 that you don't have for 55. Okay? Have that same smoke, because you don't. You have 10 fucking segments, and that's just me doing a quick YouTube search. I bet if I actually went in depth and sat there for a minute and looked through every page, I could find more. A quick YouTube search. 10 segments on Bronny James and not one on the overall first pick in the entire draft? Does that make sense to you guys? Does that make sense at all? Please tell me in the comments. 10 segments on Bronny James and not a single segment on the first overall pick in the draft. That's crazy. But I digress. We spent enough time on that. Let's move on to the other excuses, right? So we got that out the way. I just want to exit out of these tabs and let's go look at what Stephen A said. I want everybody to know the reason why Bron has a problem with Stephen A has nothing to do with basketball. I can't play too much first take. I will definitely get striked by YouTube. I can play a few seconds. And I loaded it up. We're going to listen to these few seconds. I want you guys to tell me if this is a basketball take.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this.
I could play more, but I don't want to get stricken by YouTube, so I'll just read it. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, Griffey in attendance, father-son duo playing in the NBA for the first time. An absolutely, positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in. We love what we're seeing from him in the G League because that's where you belong as you hone your skills and you get better. And you legitimately earn, which I believe he will, his potential to do. I am rooting for Bronny James. It would be cruel to root against him. He's a wonderful kid. I wish him nothing but the best. But it's LeBron James' son, and everybody knows what attention that brings. You guys are bringing the attention. He's playing garbage time in games that don't matter. This Lakers loss, he played 15 minutes. He was 0 for 5. You're acting like he played 15 minutes in a high leverage game that was back and forth, and it was because of Bronny on the floor that they lost. He played garbage time minutes. Garbage time minutes. The Lakers got blown out. The starters were on the bench. And Bronny got a chance to play against NBA players to hone his skills. He doesn't even play in every NBA game. There's been, how many games have there been? Bronny has played in 18 games total. All of them have been garbage time minutes, whether it's a win or an L. I'm curious. I'm really curious. How many NBA games have been played total? I can just add it up. Let's just look at the standings. All right, 55 and 10. That's an easy number, 65. So 65 games. 65 games, give or take. Bronny has played in 18 of these, and they all have been garbage time. At the making of this, though, when was this? And that's as of now. He's played 65 games. This was back in January. January. How many games has Bronny played in since January from when he was drafted? It's definitely less than 18. And you're talking about him like he cost the Lakers, my bad. Like he cost the Lakers the game. And he didn't. So again, I'm begging you as a father. That's the reason he got called out. It was leaked through the audio. That's what Bron said. I'm pleading with you as a father. I'm pretty sure. Here. That is what Bron said in the leaked audio. If we can find it with Richard Jefferson.
So as we all know, LeBron James got...
Here's the leaked audio. Yeah. Yeah. And then I showed you guys the clip of I'm pleading you as a father. Well, here's the fuck. What the fuck? Oh, they just showed the confrontation. I thought they were actually going to show the clip of Stephen A. Smith saying that. But nonetheless, Stephen A. Smith, it was the pleading with you as a father. You know that. You know that. And he's going to talk about it here, so we're going to play his clip and see what he says. Keep in mind, I haven't seen these 3 clips, so I'm going to be reacting with you guys live. But real quick, before I do, I just want to say I find it very funny that he says, I had to talk about this because my bosses said I had to talk about this. Brother, you're Stephen A. fucking Smith. What are you talking? My bosses says this went viral, so I had to talk about it. We all have bosses. My boss is not like your boss. Are you kidding me? I can't say no to my boss. I can say no to some things. I can't say no to others. You have a boss. That is true. But you're Stephen A. fucking Smith. It's not like you're telling your boss to suck it. I'm not coming in 3 days out of the week, which, funny enough, you might be able to do because of your name. It's not like you're telling your boss to, you know what, I'm not talking about basketball or football anymore. I'm literally just going to talk about golf until you fire me. It's a topic that you said you didn't want to talk about, that you didn't want to make public. I find it funny as hell that you didn't want to make public so bad that you talked about it not only on First Take, you talked about it on your damn show. Guys, I don't want to make this shit public. I don't want to make this public. I don't want to talk about it. By the way, I'm going to go on as many shows as possible and talk about this. Make that make sense. Somebody make that make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. But I just wanted to get that little rant too. My boss has told me to. You're Stephen A. Smith. What you say pretty much goes. If you say I'm not talking about this, guess what? You're not talking about it. Fuck out of here. It's for ratings, and I wouldn't even be angry. The only reason I'm so mad about it is just the dishonesty and around this discourse. If people would just come out and say, listen, Stephen A. has a right to talk about it. He has a right to get ratings off of it. I don't like LeBron. I get why he would approach him as a father, because he said as a father, and at the end of the day, he was pleading for him that had nothing to do with basketball, and you're right. I mean, it is kind of, I just don't like LeBron, and if Stephen A's going to talk about it, whatever, I'm going to listen to him. I wouldn't talk about this, but the discourse is just so twisted. It's like, it's a basketball commentator doing his job. It's not his job to plead with him as a father to do better. It's his job to talk basketball. And even if he's doing his job, 10 segments on a 55th pick? Why? Because LeBron James said in a tweet a couple years ago that Bronny was better than some of these cats in the league. Holy shit. I'm sorry that you guys don't have parents that love you. Same. My mom loves me. My dad's at the store. He'll be back soon. But yes, your parents are going to exaggerate at times and tell people and tell the world that they feel you're the greatest ever. I wrote a poem and I won like a contest for writing a poem at my school. I think I got like a medal and I got to read it at like a town hall or some shit like that. It was like for drugs or being against drugs, not for drugs. And my mom was so excited. She gave me a dinner and made her happy. She said it was the best. I'm literally going to be a poet. Like, she hyped me up like crazy. I'm not a poet. I'm good with my words, but I'm not a poet. If I was a poet, I might be doing this YouTube shit, but I'd be having a lot of money. Okay? I wouldn't be trying to make this video, edit it, and then I got to go to work right after this. I'm not a poet. But damn, she made me feel like I was. I'm sorry that you guys don't have parents that love you. Yes, LeBron hyped his son up as any father would and said that he thinks his son is better than half the people in the league. He was wrong. Cool. Why does his tweet as a father means the discourse against Bronny has to be talked about day in and day out? Why are you holding Bronny to the level that the father is holding Bronny to? Does that make sense? You're an ESPN commentator, a basketball commentator. Well, I would hold him to a 55th pick. He is playing like a 55th pick. He is playing better than the 55th pick the year before. That's not even in the league. He is playing good as a 55th pick. Top 50 in stats with everything. He's a 55th pick, playing like a 55th pick. But you know what? LeBron said he's better than a 55th pick. Therefore, I'm going to hold him to that level. What fucking sense does that make? No. That's a son. So that needs to get thrown out too. I attack that. I'm attacking as many arguments as I saw on Twitter, on TikTok. So that was another argument brought up. Get that shit out of here. Now, the man of the hour. Let's go ahead and look at what he has to say. One at a time. I'll respond to all of them. And then we'll wrap this video up, huh? So let's get this going.
Why did I say as a father? If it were a Kenyon Martin and his son, I wouldn't have said that. If it were a Carmelo Anthony and his son, I would not have said that. If it was a Glenn Big Dog Robinson and his son, I would not have said that. If it was Rick Barry and one of his sons, I would not have said that. I would not have said that about any of those folks because none of those folks had made headlines promoting their child to be in the NBA as a player or a star in the league. I'm saying, as a father, you said, I want to play with my son in the NBA.
Okay. You
said, I don't care if you want me draft Bronny.
That is not what he said. That is not what he said. That's what a lot of people assumed. I was actually fighting people on this because people really thought if Bronny was drafted to like the Raptors or the Wizards or some shit like that, that LeBron was going to go join their team. I was on NBA Twitter fighting like crazy. There's a reason I'm not on Twitter that much anymore. I don't like going on there. I go on there like once every 2-3 weeks because it's toxic as fuck. I was fighting my life in the comments, bro, telling people, shut the... LeBron's gonna be a Laker. LeBron will stay a Laker. LeBron's not leaving the Lakers to go play with the fucking Wizards and the Raptors. This is an assumption made up by the media that LeBron would only play for a team that drafted his son. It's just not true. You know how I know it's not true? Because if the Lakers felt that way or any other team felt that way, they would not have gotten Dalton Connect. They would have gotten Bronny to ensure that they kept LeBron. 17 to 55, I don't know if you guys know this. The distance between 17 and number 55 is a long distance. A lot of teams could have scooped in and got Bronny. Not a single one took him. Are you telling, and if you have any fucking argument, because they were smart with their draft pick. Yeah, the draft pick before Bronny that got picked up is doing great in the G League right now. Bronny's playing better than him, and he's 4 years younger than the draft pick that was picked up by the Knicks. 4 years younger. Bronny's 4 years younger, playing better than him. So yeah. So Bronny in the next 4 years could develop to be a better player. That player that they drafted in the next 4 years should be in his prime, and I don't think he's going to be playing any better, considering he's not playing that good now. So, at the age that he's at. So, I don't want to hear the whole, they were being smart with their draft picks. Bullshit. Bullshit. You're telling me there's not one team in the league where if they truly felt that LeBron would have joined their team if they drafted Bronny, wouldn't draft Bronny? You know you full of shit. You know you lying. Because you know that many teams, the Cavs themselves, if they knew that Bron would come to their team, all they had to do was just give up a roster spot to Bronny and put him in the G League. Because guess what? A lot of these players are not playing that well. Even the first and second pick aren't playing that well. So it's like, okay, we give up a roster spot, but we get fucking LeBron James on our already stacked team. Yeah, we'll do that. But guess what? teams didn't feel that way. That was a fucking media spin. Bron never said that. People just felt like that. They felt like LeBron would go to the team that his son got drafted on. There was no evidence to prove that, and he even spoke against that. And said he wants to play with his son, but where he gets drafted is where he gets drafted. Fuck, bro.
At this point, it's not about the money. I don't care where it is. I'll play there. I just want to have a year with my son. It was you that said, despite high school, despite the heart ailment, he's better than some of the players in the league.
So he's quite literally using the excuse. He's using the excuse of Bronny James. My son is better than half of these cats in the league. Therefore, as an ESPN commentator, I'm going to go ahead and say that, you know what? I'm going to hold Bronny up here because you hold Bronny up here as a father. By the way, he's slick. I know what comments he's speaking on when LeBron's talking about playing with his son. He did not, oh my fucking God! He did not say he's leaving the Lakers to go play with his son no matter where he's drafted. They asked LeBron, is there anything else left in your career you feel like you need to do? And LeBron said at this point, no. Not money, not anything. I feel like I achieved everything I need to achieve. The only thing I would love to do is play with my son, even if it's for a year. That's what he said. But you leave out, you sneaky little goose, you sneaky little guy, you leave out the rest of that quote where he says, but I would love the best for my son. Where he gets drafted is where he gets drafted. But I would love to play with my son. So you took his words where he said, you know, playing with my son is the only thing left that would be great. And you left out the part where he said, you know, where he gets drafted is where he gets drafted, implying that he's not just going to go hop teams to wherever Bronny gets drafted. And you twist it. This is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I'm talking about. You're spitting shit to fit your narrative as a commentator. And it makes no sense.
So when I was saying, as a dad, don't do it, I wasn't just talking about Bronny, the player. I was talking about the dad saying the things that he was saying that was only adding pressure to the son.
Okay, so why are you adding more pressure? If that's true, if that's truly how you felt, why the hell are you talking about him like once a week at this point? 10 segments is like 10 shows. That's like once a week. That's like 10 weeks. And again, there's only 10 I found. So why are you talking about Bronny once a fucking week? There's weeks that Bronny doesn't even play that you're talking about Bronny. Why? He's playing in the G League. Sometimes he'll play garbage time minutes in an NBA game. But I bet you there's no way in all 10 of those segments it's all 10 of his NBA appearances. Bullshit. That's crazy.
Why did I say...
Oh, so we got one down. Okay. Jesus Christ. Next one. Let's see what this one's about.
A week before he confronted me, remember he said, why should somebody be the face of the league? Well, all these dudes do is go on the air in the mornings and shit on players.
Yeah. Quite literally proving his point. Yeah.
He was talking about me.
Yes.
Why? Because I got you number 2 all time?
You're a fucking idiot. Like, this is the face I'm making right now at what you just said. Your face, your body, bro, Stephen A., your body is telling you that what you just said was nonsense. What? Listen, I'm not a mind reader. I could be wrong. I'm going to take a wild shot in the dark here. But I do not think LeBron James is upset at people like Stephen A. Smith for saying that LeBron James is number 2 all time. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I'm going to take a wild guess and say, you know what? I don't think LeBron is mad that you called him number 2 all time. It's a wild guess. But I'm going to say that's probably not why he's upset at you. Probably not. You know why he probably is upset at you? Because you'll use clips, segments, shit like that, and you'll talk about players and put names on them and say they're lazy. They played terribly because their mind's not to get. You guys don't have basketball analysis. I've had more basketball analysis on my fucking YouTube channel than you guys have on your show. I talk about the different defensive schemes that JJ did on his first go around with Jokic that were able to contain him and help the Lakers pull a victory out. Something that I don't think they're going to be able to do today, but I'll talk about a little bit of a prediction of the Nuggets-Lakers game at the end of this video. I talked about before how the Knicks, just defensively, I don't really trust them, and that's been shown time and time again. Tom Thibodeau plays way too many minutes on his players. You guys talked about that a little bit. Kudos to you. I've talked about the transition defense of the Nuggets being atrocious and needs to be fixed, considering the fact that they're not even top 20 when it comes to defensive stats, and they're only like top 10 when it comes to offensive rating. That's not good. You guys don't show analysis. You would say a player's playing trash because he's like emotionally not there and mentally, like you'll get into, you guys will psychoanalyze. You guys are drama. You're drama. That's what it is. You guys are sports drama, not sports casters. Because I get it. Because sports casting is boring. I understand it. I talk about sports. I talk about the NBA. I have breakdowns. Like if we go to my channel, I have actual breakdown videos of games where I sit there and I talk on length on how the game was played, how I felt about these players playing, how I felt about, I go over the box score, what they did, what they didn't do, what I feel like they could work on, what I feel like the coach did that was right, what I feel like the coach did that was wrong. I have several games, and not just Laker games. I talk about the Bucks games, Nuggets games. I talked about the Celtics games, Knicks games, Cavaliers games. I've had these videos on my channel. But guess what? They don't perform that well. And I get why. It's not drama. Drama performs great. People love drama. I get it. I get it. I get that's why you do it. I do it for the love of the game. I will talk about the game and I'll talk about drama. I'll talk about both, right? But you say you're a sports analyst and all you do is talk drama. So I think the analyst part should be taken out of your name because I don't claim to be a sports analyst. I don't. I will analyze games. But I say it, I react to basketball creators and basketball in general, because that is what I do. You're supposed to be a sports analyst. When's the last time you actually sat down and analyzed shit, Stephen A., without psychoanalyzing a player?
I think LeBron James is the greatest player in the history of man outside of Michael Jordan.
Okay, cool.
I don't have him as number 1.
He's not mad about that. I don't know why you think he's mad about that. I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's like me listening to somebody say, bro, you on the court, you're so bad because mentally you're just not there. Mentally you're not there. Physically you're just disgusting. Like everything about you, like your emotions, we can tell you're fucking compromised, dude. You're compromised and you're terrible. And then we got another guy saying to me, bro, I think you're like the second best player I've ever seen on this court. It's like, oh, I know everything that guy just said, but you said I was the second best player. Oh, come here. I got a problem with you. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do you really? I'm not going to hamper this point. He knows he's lying. This is just, he's exaggerating this because it's going to feed well with his audience. He knows this is bullshit. He knows this is bullshit.
Great father, great husband, great actor, great.
Oh my God. I don't give a fuck. Is that all? Can we skip ahead?
What haven't I said? 4-time champion, 4-time league. Oh
my God, just the fake glaze. The fake glaze. The fake glaze, the Walmart pseudo glaze. Come on, get this out of here.
NBA history right.
Oh my God, is that all this is? The pseudo glaze?
These players, some of them, not most, not all, but a few. And you know what they've been trying to do, right?
What's that?
In my opinion,
Okay.
what they've been trying to do
Okay.
is accuse me of selling out. Oh,
I feel like that's a bit of a stretch. I feel like they're just saying you're not a basketball analyst. You're drama, so be that. Just be that. This is what you are. You're a drama guy. So be that. You do what gives you views. You do what gives you ratings. So be that. Just be about that. Just don't be a pussy ass bitch and lie. That's all. I don't know. I guess I could be wrong. All right, we got one more clip.
Bronny wanted to get drafted by any NBA team. Mm-hmm. He wanted to hear his name. It was LeBron that wanted him as his teammate.
No shit. Okay.
What I'm saying to you is, if LeBron had rolled up on me,
okay,
all he had to say, because I said this to Rich Paul when Rich Paul called me. If you had called me and said, Bron pissed off, he wants to see you man to man. I said, what would I have done? Rich Paul said, you'd have hung up the phone and you'd flew to LA. I said, thank you. Rather than come up to me at courtside, all you had to do was say, yo, I need you to see you after the game. You didn't do that. You said you with my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you. It wasn't about your son. I know.
I'm pleading with you as a father. I know when I'm talking about fathers, I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to say fatherhood and all that shit. You are in an aspect talking about their son. They can't be a father without a son. You know that's how that works, right? They can't be a father without a child. So therefore, if you're speaking on them as a father, you're speaking on how they react, how they are as a father towards their son. You're disrespecting them as a father. Yeah, that has nothing to do with basketball. Thank you, Stephen A. Stephen A, like, kind of gets it, but then he doesn't really, like, fully get it, right? Like, yes, you're disrespecting his fatherhood, in turn disrespecting his son unnecessarily by disrespecting his fatherhood, right? Like, it's just, how do I put this in words that stupid people like Stephen A can understand, right? It's like if we're playing basketball on the court, right? And I'm going up against a kid and he just has bad fundamentals. He's not dribbling right, whatever the case may be. And I'm just swiping him from him every time, swiping from him every time, swiping from him every time. And I'm just like, man, you have no idea how to fucking handle the ball. You have no idea how to handle the ball, bro. I can see that your father, bro, he needs to just take you out the game. Your father needs to take you out the game. He's failing you. It's like, technically, I'm talking shit about the father, a little bit to the son, but mostly on the father. Like, your father's failing you. Your father's not treating you right. Your father's not teaching you right. Your father's a failure as a person for not teaching you right. Like, I'm talking about the father, but let's not play coy here. Obviously, I'm still talking shit on the son by talking shit on the father because I'm saying that the father's actions is having a negative reaction to the son. So, I don't know how Stephen A doesn't understand this at the age of 50, 60, however old he is. But I think he does. He's just, again, plain stupid.
Oh, he's number 55. I know he got work to do. Yeah. I believe that he got the potential. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody. But I was talking about your ass. You did this. Number one, we know I'm right. Number two.
Number one, I'm right, because I said so. Okay, what's number two?
We know the perspective that I'm coming from is real and it's authentic. Number three.
No, it's not, because you're supposed to be a basketball analyst, not a man on TV pleading with the man's father. You're a basketball analyst. You're pleading with him as a father that has nothing to do with basketball. Again, if you want to be a drama star, that's fine. If you were Keemstar, I wouldn't be making a video on you. That's about 40 minutes long. I wouldn't care. You're Keemstar. This is how you talk. This is what you talk about. You're a drama guy. You're not Keemstar. You claim to be a basketball analyst, and you took it to a spot that wasn't basketball. That's why players don't fuck with you. I don't know why you don't understand that.
He set this up. Number four, all you had to do was tell me.
He did.
Respectfully, excuse my language. That's when we.
No, he did. He told you. He told you to your face. I hate this idea. What is this bullshit that you get to talk publicly so I have to talk privately? Go suck a dick, bro. So you get to go on your show with millions of people watching and say nonsense about me as a father. And when I have a problem with that because you claim to be a sports analyst, I have to call you? I'm not allowed to approach you publicly? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. That's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit. That's bullshit. You gonna respond publicly, I'm coming to you publicly. That's how that shit works. If someone made a video about me, saying some nonsensical shit about me, I'm coming public with it. Are you kidding me? I'm making a video too. Why the fuck? I have to call you and beg you to take it down. I think you're full of shit, and have a debate with you about why you're full of shit. Maybe you agree with me at the end, but you keep the video up? Suck a dick. And what pisses me off more about this, I didn't pull this up. I'm about to pull it up right now. Stephen A, I'm glad someone else got the video for me. Stephen A has said, if you got a problem with me, pull up. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. He does just that, and he cries. Here, we're going to pull this up real quick.
At the Staples Center.
Look at this.
Kyrie rolls up on me. He taps me on the back, and he's like, you still got that same energy face to face? I said, I'm standing here, ain't I? Never saw me at games for the better part of the last 25 years. I've been at an average of 120 games a year. You ain't seen me. You didn't see me sitting courtside with your former owner. You didn't see me at a couple of Phoenix games. You didn't see me there. Kobe could vouch for this. D Wade could vouch for this. CP could vouch for this. Melo, others. There's a lot of people that could vouch for this. All you got to do is come talk to me.
That's it.
I don't have to agree with you. I don't have to. We could cuss each other out. It doesn't matter. He's a man.
Right.
And it's like you gonna deal with him on the real. MJ, another cat. Real. Let's not ignore the level of physicality that once existed in the NBA. These brothers Molly would roll up. They'd find you in a hotel lobby or a restaurant before the game. It wasn't talk. In the game, it was physical. Off the court, it would be physical. I mean, they saw each other. You see what I'm saying? LeBron and I had to deal with that. You could come to me, and it could be real. If I say something publicly wrong, I'm not going to apologize at the Staples.
Holy fuck. Oh, you just said what I just said. If I say something publicly wrong, I'm not going to apologize privately. You just said that. So how the fuck you going to make something public and then you going to be mad at him when he comes to you publicly? Suck a dick. So yeah, and then the last thing I want to talk about before we end this video, I talk about the Nuggets and Lakers a little bit real quick. Last thing I want to bring up, K-Love. He posted this tweet. It was a quote tweet to Stephen A. Smith. I didn't want to have to address this. I wouldn't have either had it not gone viral. Now I have no choice. At First Take at 10 a.m., then the Stephen A. Smith Show on YouTube. Some things just have to be said. You have no choice, LOL, because it went viral, LOL. You didn't want to have to, LOL. You wouldn't have, LOL. Curious. I'm with K-Love on this one. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Again, we talked about this at the beginning of the video, so I'm not going to hamper on the First Take point too much. You got bosses, whatever the case may be. That is what he said. He had bosses, so you had to talk about it. Let's pretend that's true. You got a contract. You just want to be a respectful businessman. You don't want to fight the man too much, even though you probably have a lot more power than you like to act like you don't. Well, you don't want to fight the man too much. They tell you to talk about it, you talk about it. Why didn't you leave it at this then? You don't want to make it viral. You don't want to talk about it. You talked about it on First Take. Then you went on your show that you control and talked about it. You went on Gilbert's Arena show and talked about it. And I'm curious, guys. I'm curious. Can you tell me what the fuck this has to do with politics? I don't talk politics on this channel. I'm just saying, Stephen A. Smith goes on Fox to talk politics, which is already weird to me. And you're talking about your conversation with LeBron?
Him because he had gone through so many things to make, have his son in the NBA, and he was bringing unnecessary.
What the fuck does that have to do with politics, Stephen A. Smith? What does that have to do with politics? This is something about Democrats and shit? What does this have to do with politics? So this is what I'm talking about. You're a liar, okay? Because and I don't want to hear the excuse, maybe they asked him and he didn't know they were going to ask that question. Bullshit. Bullshit. When you get brought on these shows, especially when you're a guest and a liked guest on the show, you're not going to be bombarded with questions you're not ready for. But let's pretend he wasn't ready for this question. We see that he talks about it, and he talked about it for a minute. Why the fuck did he just not say, hey, we're talking about like Democrats and shit here. I don't really want to talk about that. I talked about it on my show as it is. It was just something that happened, and I don't like how he reacted. So that's all. But you talked about it for a while with him. Cool. You're a fucking joke, dude. That's all I got to say about the Stephen A. Smith shit. That's the last video I'm making on this. Funny enough, it's probably not the last video Stephen A. Smith's going to make on it, even though he doesn't want to talk about it. But I'm going to get back to doing something that, you should be doing as an analyst, Stephen A., and that's talking basketball. So, with that out the way, real quick, I want to talk about my predictions on the Lakers. They're not doing well. Right now, I believe they got 2 games up on the Warriors, a game up on the Rockets. The Rockets seem like they got an easy win tonight. If I'm not mistaken, pretty sure the Rockets' schedule is pretty lax in itself. Who do the Rockets face tonight? They face Dallas, so it seems like they got an easy schedule too. They face the Bulls, the Sixers, their next 2 games. So the Lakers could easily fall to 5, fall down to 4-5, and Golden State can rise up. So biggest test is going to be the next couple weeks. I never thought I would say this. I miss Jackson Hayes. I don't know if Jackson Hayes is going to be back for this game. What is it? It's about 1:30 p.m. We can go ahead and look up the Lakers injury report. There should be confirmation on whether or not. So LeBron James is out. Rui Hachimura is out as of March 13th. He was sent back to LA. It is marked day to day, and he'll be considered day to day moving forward. So there's no confirmation on whether or not he'll be missing this game. Jackson Hayes has been ruled out the Bucks game. They need either Hachimura or Jackson Hayes back if they have a chance of winning this game against the Nuggets. It's going to be a tough one. I understand that Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, they're not 100%, so I think that could be a little bit of a bright spot. Looking for it as a Laker. Aaron Gordon might not even play today because he's dealing with knee inflammation, so we'll see what happens there. But as far as the Lakers, they gotta hold out. They're in trouble. If I'm the Lakers fan base right now, I wouldn't be too worried about tonight's game. If it's a win, that's great. If it's a loss, that sucks. But you go on to play the Suns. You should be able to beat the Suns without Rui or Jackson. But hopefully you get Rui or Jackson Hayes back for one of these. Or both. That would be great. You go on to face the Spurs. So these 2 should be wins. And then you go on to face the Nuggets again. You want to split one of these as best as you can. Tonight would probably be the best way to do that. Aaron Gordon may not play. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are not playing at 100%. They're probable, so they're probably going to play. But when it comes to, you need to go 3-1 in these 4 games. You just have to, bro. You got to go 3-1 in these 4 games. Spurs and Suns, those are gimmies. You got to win those. The Nuggets game, one of these, you gotta win one of these. And then you go on to face the Bucks, the Bulls, the Magic, and Pacers. You can go 2-2 here. So you got a little bit of leeway. The Bucks and the Pacers, you can lose these 2, but you gotta go 2-2. It would be better to go 3-1. Bulls, Magic, Pacers. But 2-2, it would be acceptable. And then your next 4 would be Bulls, Grizzlies, Rockets, Warriors. You gotta beat the Warriors. A team that's climbing up on you, you gotta beat the Rockets. That team also climbing up on you, you gotta beat, and they may even have your seed by the time you face them. Bulls, that just should be a win. And the Grizzlies, they're just not playing that well anyway. So you should be able to take them down. They're playing okay. And then hopefully Bron is back by the Pelicans game, if not the Thunder game, right? But you should have Rui Hachimura and Jackson Hayes by the Thunder game. This will be a tough out, but you want to split one of these. Beat the Thunder at least once, especially going into the playoffs. The Mavericks and the Rockets should be easy wins and ending your season with the Trailblazers. Lakers should be able to hold on to their seed. I think they'll be able to hold out at the 4th spot. I don't know if they'll hit the 3rd spot, but they might be able to. They should be able to hold out at the 4th spot. They just need to hold out. But, they really need to, they got must-win games, and I'm not even saying they gotta fucking go crazy. You guys saw what I said. I said in a split of like Bucks, Bulls, Magic, and Pacers, they could go 2-2. I feel like they need to go 3-1 here only because the fucking implications of it. The Nuggets, you got 2 on, right? You don't necessarily have to go 3-1. 2-2 will still be good, but you gotta beat the Nuggets at least one time. You gotta hand them at least 1 L, if anything, for your confidence. If anything, for your confidence, for your team confidence, because that does matter. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I got I got the Nuggets +5 tonight. Honestly, even with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic not playing 100%, if Jackson Hayes and Rui Hachimura don't play, I don't see any. Alex Lynn is not even a center in my eyes. He's what we like to call big for nothing. Gabe Vincent is a guard for nothing. We got a big center for nothing and a small guard for nothing. Wide open for the 3 in the Bucks game. Several looks and couldn't hit shit. He couldn't hit a rock in the ocean. Like, it was goddamn. But we'll see what happens tonight. I got the Lakers pulling out a 3-1. They got to, but the rest of the way they can go 2-2, 2-2, 3-1. They got some easy games towards the end of their stretch. They gotta beat the Warriors. They just have to beat the Warriors, especially if the Warriors are creeping up on them. They'll think they need to avoid the play-in. That's all. And with it being so jumbled, 7 seed is the play-in. You guys see that difference. They need to avoid the play-in, so you got to make sure the Warriors stay below you. The Rockets are probably going to creep up on you, and that's okay, but you got to make sure those Warriors stay below you. So we'll see what happens. With that being said, guys, if you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. If there's anything you want me to talk about, please just let me know, and I'll talk about it. But until next time, I love you. I'll see you later. Peace out. Deuces. Enjoy yourself.